Hello everyone, welcome to the Valley News Now Network. Duke Schindler hopping on with you here right before I get on for the 4, as we got a little bit of updates to get you through here as we approach the 4 p.m. show. With an immigration, and we'll start things off, as an immigration and customs enforcement officer shot a man Wednesday night in North Minneapolis after then allegedly being attacked by men with shovels during an arrest operation. Now we're going to bring this video up to kind of show you what we're exactly talking about. Now, one of the men was a Venezuelan migrant at the time, and he was shot in the leg, but is expected to be okay. The officer was hospitalized, and the extent of their injuries is unclear at this time. However, I can tell you right now, the shooting came exactly 1 week after ICE officer Jonathan Ross fatally shot 37-year-old Renee Good in South Minneapolis. Then early Thursday morning, President Trump took to his Truth Social media platform to say Operation Metro Surge will continue following the decision Wednesday by federal judge Kate Mendinez to deny Minnesota and the Twin Cities prosecutors a temporary restraining order against ICE. As we'll bring it back here, because Thursday morning, President Trump as well threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, which would allow him to deploy troops in Minneapolis, as he was repeatedly threatened to invoke the rarely used federal law to deploy U.S. military or federalize the National Guard for domestic law enforcement over the objection state of governors. And we'll pull up that video now, because Tim Walz said on social media, making a direct appeal to the president, as you can see right there. Let's turn the temperature down and stop this campaign of retribution, because that's not who we are, said Walz. Then he also included an appeal to Minnesotans saying, I know this is scary, but we must speak loudly, urgently, but also peacefully. We cannot fan the flames of chaos. That's what he, referring to Donald Trump, wants, end quote. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Police Chief Brian O'Hara also held joint news conferences late Wednesday night, in which Frey called for peace in the area as well, because some officers, O'Hara was saying, were being hit by rocks, fireworks, ice, and snowballs. The chief says protesters did cross the line on this one, as the Hennepin Sheriff's Office was also called in. Now, we want to get you a little bit of weather here. Unfortunately, we don't have Russ to kind of let us know what's going on right now, so I'll take you through it as best I can, as well as road conditions and what things are going to be looking like on your drive home. And we'll pull up our Valley News Live website here. It's looking like a brisk 37, little chilly out there. I was outside a couple times here throughout the day. It felt good, but a little bit of wind, as you can see, 13 miles an hour coming from northwest, it looks like. Feels like 29. Honestly, it felt a little colder for me. However, as we kind of go down and look at the hourly forecast, you're going to see these temperatures dip, because we're going to be seeing some precipitation, some snow coming into the area, and it's only going to get colder from here. As you can also see on the right-hand side, 26 miles an hour. It's supposed to get up to tomorrow morning. That's what the weather is looking like right now as we look at the 3-day. There are 4 first alert weather days coming at you. These next 4 days, I should say, as well. So let me just hit that 10-day just to make sure we got all 4 days covered. We saw that temp get up to 40 degrees today, and winds obviously playing a factor, because it certainly did not feel like 40. Well, that's when your Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays come in. Those are going to be first alert weather days because of the blowing winds and some snow and showers. Wind, all the above kind of mixed in there, making it for very tough traveling conditions. As you can see right there, 9 degrees, a low of -5 for Friday. Coming up here on Saturday, 0 all the way through. It seems like obviously it's going to be going up and down and fluctuate. Won't just stay at 0, but then Sunday, you can see it getting just a little bit warmer, 14 degrees with a low of -6, but we're still going to see potential for some precipitation, I should say, but mostly it's going to be that wind making it tough for drivers that are out in the roads. As you can see, 26 miles an hour. That's not including gusts either, by the way. Now, taking a look at what to expect here tonight for your commute home. I'll pull this open so you can see the key that we have here. Right now in Fargo, looking pretty good. nothing really too out of the ordinary, but once you get west of Fargo and basically north of Grand Forks, that's where you're going to see some scattered wet slush roads that are looking like that as you make your commute home. And as you can see here down in Jamestown, as I zoom in a little bit, yep, that solid blue line is going to be wet, slushy roads. And as we get near Devil's Lake, you see it's that kind of blue-white candy cane color. That is the scattered wet and slush. So there's going to be some interesting road conditions there as we take a look at things. I also want to pull up the road cams to really see and dive into where these kind of slushy areas are, what these slushy areas are looking like here. As we pull up some of these cameras here from the North Dakota DOT, where they're saying there's slush, there's not too much here at that time. That's going to be right, excuse me there, image not available. This is going to be going west on 94. Not too bad here, not too bad, but always got to watch out for future conditions and what those kind of look like. And then we'll move a little bit closer to Devil's Lake here, trying to see what that scattered slush looks like, but just seems like a lot of moisture in a lot of areas here. As if we even go back a little bit, humidity. It's not on here, but it's going to be humid. You're going to see these next coming days. That humidity is going to be pretty high here, pretty high. Just east of Devil's Lake near Lakota. Yep, not too shabby. It's going to be right on the edge of that kind of wet slush scattered mix here at this time. And then even further north here, we're going to take a look. Now, this is closer to the North Dakota border, and as you can see right now that, yeah, there's some coverage on that road, and we're going to be expecting to see something like that here in the coming days as we kind of move on and take a look at a couple more sky cams before we kind of continue on our day here. This is going to be, well, let's take a look. It's going to be west of Grafton here on North Dakota 32. That sunshine's doing some serious work, I can tell you that much here right now. Especially as we get down to these cold temperatures here as well. That sun is always coming in clutch. Now let's take a look at closer to Fargo. Won't be seeing too much here as we kind of move throughout the day. But like I said, we have 4 first alert weather days ahead of us, so conditions are certainly going to vary here as we kind of move a little bit north. This is going to be near 13th Avenue on I-29 here at this time. Yep, looking pretty clean. Just the camera a little dusty. Might need a little bit of cleaning off there. A little south, Fargo. My neck of the woods. South of 64th Avenue South. Not looking too bad as far as I can tell. Once again, I am no expert here when it comes to meteorology, predicting weather, that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's kind of what Fargo's looking like, and we're going to see until really blustier conditions arrive here as we move throughout the night and really get into the thick of these first alert weather days. Moving into the Minnesota side of things, looking good. Looking good here at this time. Nothing too out of the ordinary as we pull up the key here. Normal roads, as you can see with the green. Green means go. Everything's set to go. But looking a little bit closer to the top of things, we'll bring us back here to the zoom cam. Once you get really north near Thief River Falls, Grafton, that sort of thing, yep, a lot going on there. So that's going to be your look at what the road conditions are like. And as I said before, we got four first alert weather days ahead of us. So certainly those roads are going to vary as things go on. But now we actually got Russ Thomason for a look at what to expect here for these next coming first alert weather days. Take a look.
We are going to have a stretch, Russ, of some very inclement weather, a little bit crazy, and weather alert days. Can you just walk us through, what does that mean?
So first alert weather days, so the thing that we look at here is impactful weather. Now that can be varying degrees, meaning we call a first alert weather day sometimes for something as simple as, let's just say it's summer, it's a weekend, it's fall. People are out, they want to go golfing, they want to go out and spend time, and we're going to get a big rain. Okay, for them, that's kind of that thing where we say, okay, we're going to call first alert weather day because that does change the plans. Then we take it all the way to the level, that's more lifestyle. Then we start talking about life-threatening. So it goes, so they're varying levels, life-threatening being something like we're going to see coming up this Saturday morning, which we'll talk about in a minute, but that is, you start looking at wind chills, 30 to 40 below. So again, you start looking at, okay, variable situations, where does it impact people the most, whether they're just outdoors trying to make those plans or whether it is literally something where you want to keep people indoors and safe.
And then for the team, behind the scenes, what does it look like when you decide it's going to be a first alert weather day?
One of the nice things about the weather team is that the communication that we have, and it's kind of the case always, but in particular, we start getting bigger weather events. We communicate well ahead of time. We talk like, hey, we're going to call this first alert weather day. Why? Sometimes it's very easy to call. Sometimes we do a little discussion, say, okay, is this really, what kind of an impact is this going to have? Once we do that, it's just kind of constant communication, maybe being here, an extra hour or two, making sure we're overlapping, we're covering those things. Like one of the big things we're trying to do more and more is put the digital desk. So one of the things, especially when we have severe weather situation like we had last summer, a number of times when we got tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, what we want to do is make sure we have enough staff on hand at that moment, no matter when that moment is, where you've got someone who's able to do the live cut-ins or at least check the information coming in. You've also got someone at the same time at the digital desk, the OTT desk, giving those reports live in that moment. So it's more just about focusing on coverage, making sure that we've got all areas covered. And sometimes that means instead of one or two of us here, it's two or three of us here at one time. But again, it's all about whatever numbers we need to keep everyone safe. And that really is what it's all about. So you factor all that in. It's a little. I guess you could say it's a little extra work, but we love our job so much. We really do. We'd rather not, truly, call first alert weather days. I know sometimes every once in a while you hear, why are you calling first alert weather day for this? The thing is we're always, first thing is safety. We want to keep the people in our community safe. I think people understand that, and that's kind of the goal, and we'll do whatever it takes. We do around the clock if we need to make sure everyone's okay.
I think a lot of us woke up this morning and thought, there's no way it can be a first alert weather day because it was so sunny and it was warm. And now, within the last couple of hours, we're starting to feel that shift. Can you just give us a preview of or what we're going to be expecting?
And it's funny you said that. I can tell you this, as someone who's been calling first alert weather day for the last several days, I walked out about 1 o'clock and I'm like, wait, is this the first alert weather day? The answer is yes. We have, and we've kind of been talking about this later this afternoon, this evening. Some areas are already starting to see snow move into the region on northern areas. What we're looking at tonight and tomorrow is snow showers moving in. We're not expecting a lot of snow. 1 to 2 inches, I think, for most areas. In fact, I think most less than 2, closer to 1. The problem we're running into is we're going to have very strong winds. We're looking at wind speeds 40, 50 plus miles per hour tonight into tomorrow. So then what you have created is blowing snow with the snow coming down and the snow that's on the ground, like fresh snow. And oftentimes here, especially with our open areas, that means whiteout conditions and more whiteout. One of the areas we often see, I'm not saying this is going to happen this time around, we start talking about near blizzard conditions. A lot of times I-29, especially farther to the border, are impacted. Sometimes they have to be shut down. 94 as well at times heading out west. So we're looking at a scenario where whether roads are shut down or not, we're looking at a situation where we're going to have high winds, we're going to have a lot of snow, creating again very poor visibility. Then we jump into the weekend. We just called this morning 2 first alert weather days. The reason is weather models showing more and more that our wind chill values Saturday morning are going to be in the 30 to 40 mile per hour, 40 degrees below area there. So again, extreme cold, the kind of cold that is dangerous, so you don't be outside for really any length of time. And then on Sunday, still going to be very windy, more snow expected. Again, snow showers, not a lot. So then we're looking at potential for real whiteout conditions again. So we've got kind of this 3.5-day stretch starting this evening where it's just going to kind of be miserable. Whether it's the temperatures, whether the snow's coming down and the wind's blowing it around, it's just going to be one of those. We've been lucky so far early mid-January. It hasn't felt like January. It's going to feel very much like January over this next, not just few days, but the next, it looks like couple weeks.
All right. Thank you so much, Russ. Obviously, you can catch so much more of our weather coverage coming up at 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. So we've got you covered. And that VNL weather app. Make sure you download our app. Great.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, and that's going to wrap it up here on Valley News Now. And you're not done with me yet. I'll be on in just a couple minutes for Valley News Live at 4. So I got to hit the desk here, but thank you guys for watching. And of course, stick around for more Valley News Now. For Duke Schindler, we'll catch you in about 2 minutes.